Hey, it's your boy Ben on the Bayou, and I want to talk to y'all about something that I just recently learned out today. There is only a 0.6% of players that play War Thunder that have gotten 100 professional awards. And I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a little my thoughts on the tutorial, kind of how to get to that point, right? So the number one and the biggest thing for me is know your tank. Know what your tank is good at, know what your tank is bad at. Like for example, if you're playing a American high tier, you have really good gun depression and a decent reload. But if you're playing the Russian high tier, those negatives are um, very slow reverse speed. So if you pop out to take a shot, you're going to be out there for a minute and no gun depression whatsoever. Like absolutely dog shit. Like it's terrible. Don't crest the hill because you're going to have to come all the way over the hill to take your shot, which is, and then you have to reverse back down the hill, which is going to take forever, which is probably going to lead to you getting killed. The number two is honestly, you really don't want to level up too fast. You want to learn your tanks and learn how the game changes from one tier to the next, from one BR level to the next. Because what you have is that I think everybody's so dedicated to getting to top tier that they don't actually take time to learn how to play the game, and they get into top tier with all of these, pro players, and you just get schooled, and it makes it not that much fun. And the reason, and part of that is that you need to know the weak spots of the enemy tanks. Because if you don't learn their weak spots, very few tank trees change from like middle tier to high tier. Most of the time, their tanks stay about the same. Like, take Germany is one exception to the rule. They go from like super heavy armor with the Tiger 2s up to like the Leopards where it changes. And then it kind of goes back to it because you get up towards like the Leopard 2A4 where their armor starts to get very good, but that's something else, right? And that's another part of knowing your tank is you need to know the strengths of your tank and the weaknesses. Like if your tank's not really a brawler, don't run around and try to just get in there and brawl with everybody. If you got a speedy tank, for example, like the XM1, you can sprint out to a cap, take that cap, and get out of there before the enemy team has time to come and get you. Another big thing that I see is everybody's so interested in pushing far forward in the map. Really, what I like to do is you push to the objective, you take the objective, and if your team's doing well, you go maybe halfway between the objective and their spawn and let them come to you. Because if you drive up into their spawn, they're going to know you're there. They're going to use that respawn invincibility, and they're going to troll you. Really, just don't push so far forward. You don't have to be on their spawn. Let those sweaty dudes do that. You'll get way more professionals by sitting there and letting them come to you and being in a good camping spot than you will pushing the issue. Sometimes you have to push the issue, but 90% of the time, if you let them come to you, you got a good spot, like you see in this video, you're going to do well. As you watch this video, I hope that you notice what I'm doing here whenever I'm hiding behind this house with the front porch on it. That is my favorite spot on this map because you get a clear look into their spawn, yet you're not so far forward, and you can basically take your shot and scoot back in there behind it because most people are not going to know that they have to aim a little bit higher to get over that porch. This is what I mean when I talk about map knowledge. You need to know where the good spots are, where you have the clear advantage, and I'm not exposing any of my hull. Like T54, yeah, I got it. You start getting into claim it whatever you want, Russian bias. But look at all of these shots that are being shot at me. 90% of them are hitting that porch and not doing any damage to me. Now I do take a Milan to the face and it takes out my armor, and that was really what ended up causing me to die because I had to go back to the cap to get ammo, which sucked, and that's eventually ended up how I ended up dying. But you need to know what it's like on both sides of the map, right? Because you need to know from the enemy spawn what they can see and where's a good spot. That way, when you spawn on the other side of the map, you know where to look. You see where they're at. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's that map knowledge that I'm talking about. You have to learn the maps because, and that's part of it. It all fits in together, right? So if you learn the maps, you don't research too fast. And I think honestly that's where high tier premiums kind of ruin the game for a lot of people is they don't learn the maps. They go into these maps and you don't know anything about it. You get schooled. You paid $40 for a tank that now you think sucks. It doesn't suck. Is that you have to learn the maps and how each BR plays those maps, where people go, because it does change how people play the map depending on what BR they are, how fast they can get to a point. And that's about knowing the other tanks in your BR, knowing weaknesses and strengths. And then obviously, and I always hated this answer whenever I hear it. To be better at the game, you got to know the maps. You absolutely have to learn the maps and the common camping points, the common like little cheeky like spawn camping spots, things like that. And in my opinion, if you learn the 5 simple steps, you'll improve your game and you'll be well on your way to getting to your 100 professionals and getting that unlock in Steam. Anyway, this is your boy Ben on the Bayou. Like and subscribe.